Who is in the best 23 for the GWS Giants this year? We have made our call here at Zero Hanger. We're going to break it down line by line. But before we do, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We've got plenty of footy content coming out this year. So let's go. But before we get into it, don't forget that ZeroHanger.com is the #1 independent AFL news source for all your AFL news, trades, draft content, and now games. Check out our latest game, AFL Streakr. Test out your footy stats knowledge and see if you can get your name on the leaderboard. All right, so here to break down the best 23 for the GWS Giants, it is Aidan Cellini, our AFL reporter. So, Giants, mini exodus in the offseason, coming off straight sets loss. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how they line up.
Yeah, I mean, Peatling, Cumming, Haynes, and Perriman all leave, but they did kind of regenerate on the run. They've got in a couple first rounders or early second rounders in the draft, and they still have a stacked list on paper. They always do, the Giants, especially last decade or so. But the straight sets loss does sting a little bit, following on from that 1-point prelim loss to Collingwood in 2023 as well. So we do expect them to be around the mark this year, but they're kind of an interesting read. So we'll see how their best 23 pans out.
Yep, interesting stuff. All right, let's get to the defenders. All right, so starting from the back line, Leclerc, Sam Taylor, Lockie Ash, and then on the half back, we've got Lockie Whitfield, Jack Buckley, and Harrison Himmelberg. So pretty much unchanged except for one new-ish face in Aliir.
Yeah, so he kind of burst onto the scene last year, had a pretty good year, but was kind of in and out of the side based on form and just other available players. So as you mentioned, it's relatively unchanged. They've got a pretty stacked back line. Sam Taylor, arguably the best one-on-one key defender in the game. Also Jack Buckley, kind of his Batman to his Robin. Himmelberg as an intercept defender. Ash and Whitfield providing bounce and foot use off the halfback, leaving Aliir to kind of play that rolling defender, whether he plays on a small or tall, and also intercepting as well. So pretty happy if you're a Giants fan looking at that back six.
Yep. All right, so looking at the mids now, obviously Kieran Briggs, the main man in the ruck now, so and then followed by Tom Green, Stephen Cornelio, Finn Callahan, and then on the wings, Josh Kelly and Xavier O'Halloran. Where do you want to start there?
Finn Callahan, for me, he's going to be the difference maker. You know what you're going to get from Tom Green, even Cornelio with that beautiful accent you put on just a second ago, as long as he gets his body right. But Finn Callahan, he's coming into his last year of his contract. He's already cited by the Saints and probably other Victorian clubs, being that he's from down here at this Victorian state. So he's kind of that Bontempelli-esque type player, very silky, very smooth, left footer, quite tall, gets his hands free, can use the ball quite well as well. But yeah, very good lineup for the Giants in the midfield.
Yep, absolutely. I'm keeping an eye on Tom Green this year as well. He's my tip for the Brownlow. Also should be All-Australian, should have been last year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just an inside ball, does everything at the Giants. So definitely keep an eye on him too.
All right, now the forward line for the Giants, obviously starting from the half forward, Toby Green, straight in there, Aaron Cadman, Brent Daniels, and then Jake Stringer, Jesse Hogan, and Jake Riccardi. So obviously we've got to talk about Jake Stringer.
Yeah, the package comes across after leaving the Bombers, as we all know. He still has that X factor about him. And I think at the Giants, he might be second, third, or even fourth fiddle, given the fact that they've got a Coleman medalist in Hogan, Toby Green, All-Australian captain as well, and then a small fleet of forwards that roll through there too. So I think this might work in Stringer's favour. He'll kind of be less of the main attraction up forward for the Giants, and given the fact that he's still got heaps and heaps of talent and still a few years of good football left in him, I think it could work well for both parties.
Yep. All right, so rounding out the best 23 with the bench, we have Darcy Jones, Callan Ward, Connor Arden, Toby Bedford, and then Harvey Thomas as the sub. So I'm going to start with Toby Bedford. I love Toby Bedford. I probably would have started him on the field.
Yeah, well, he's pretty stiff not to be, but he can play in a multitude of roles, known kind of as a run-with player, given the fact he's so good in endurance perspective, as well as just his defensive efforts and outputs as well. But we know the Giants and Adam Kingsley have developed this system kind of called the Orange Tsunami, which we're all very familiar with, in their small forward fleet, getting back in defense and then springboarding off halfback to really, I guess, push their attack into a position where the opposition actually can't do much to deal with it. So yes, the interchange might look small, but obviously there's a reason for that. And obviously Connor Arden being only the defender in that, I guess, bench of 5, he'll slot straight into the back 6 or 7 when he rolls on as well.
Well, that's our full best 23 for the Giants. An interesting one. So the big question is this team stronger without Perryman and Cumming?
Yeah, well, they're probably the two main regulars that departed the club at the end of 2024. But One that we haven't mentioned yet, was Conor Stone. He rejected rival offers, especially from Essendon, to come back to Victoria. He's a young player. I think he's 21, 22 years of age. So developing nicely, has been played in multiple roles, both in the VFL and in the senior team. But we think across halfback might be his new niche. Given the fact both Cumming and Perriman departed, there's clearly an opening there. We don't have him in the team yet, ironically, but he's definitely going to be earmarked for more opportunities in 2025.
Yeah, as they're going to be a team to watch, the Giants, in 2025. So thank you, Aidan, for that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can. Jump in the comments if you agree, disagree with our best 23 for the Giants coming into 2025, and catch all the latest AFL news at zerohanger.com.